Hi guys, welcome back to Female in Construction. This is your host Caroline Nyokabi Kinyanjui, and I'm super excited about this first episode because we have a very important person when it comes to construction, which is a safety officer. So today we are going to learn more about why do you need a safety officer in your site, and as per usual, most of our sites don't have a safety officer, or we don't know why we need a safety officer. And welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, just introduce yourself. Tell us what your name is, what you do. Okay, yeah.
Thank you very much for having me in this session. My name's are Achini Kawira, a HSC or a health and safety professional, and I'm excited to be in this session today.
We're super excited and we're here to learn. We're yearning to learn more about safety. Tell us more about safety. Why do we need a safety officer on site? What your daily activities look like?
Okay, safety basically it's ensuring that there is absence of harm in a construction site. When we are doing daily construction activities, it's a very risky or hazardous environment. We tend to lose a lot of lives in the process. So in as much as we are striving to raise buildings and to raise structures, we also have to make sure that we are responsible for the workers that are working for us in those particular structures. Because without those workers, we are not going to have the structures in place. So that's why we need to make sure that our workers, that they come in to help us in achieving this dream or goal, they are safe throughout the process. So safety basically involves putting controls or measures in place to ensure that the worker welfare, worker safety is well catered for as we do that particular construction. So basically, it's making sure you really mind your workers during the whole process. I believe during the podcast, we shall talk more about on how we go about all that thing.
Nah, that's nice. Why did you choose safety, being a safety officer, construction safety officer?
Well, for my case, I didn't really choose. Okay, I'll explain why I ended up here. During my first internship, where I went to do an internship, I happened to be placed in a department where safety was part of the process. And within the learning process, I fell in love with HSC, and that's how I basically found myself as a HSC officer. And if you look at a lot of stories of health and safety officers, they didn't really start their careers as health and safety officers. They just found themselves along the way being a health and safety officers. So that's how I found myself in the health and safety profession. Also, it's an interesting career because that's where engineering, this whole engineering things meets humanity. It's where you realize that you're not just building structures, you're protecting mothers, fathers, sisters, a future generation. So you just become compassionate. You fall in love with protecting people's lives. So that's all I can say how I found myself in this career.
And it's very interesting that actually most of the safety officers that I've found or that I've met, they actually didn't start as safety officers.
Yeah.
Very few people started as safety officers.
It's actually it's not a career. I believe it's a calling. If you do a health and safety as a 9 to 5, you might fail terribly. You have to do what you do with so much compassion if you are to survive in this profession. That's why you find many of them join. Maybe you study for it, but hapo katikati you lose
track,
yeah.
And then you lose interest.
Yeah, you lose interest, or you find that you have a very hard time working in that profession. Yeah.
What certifications do I need to become a safety officer?
You need several certifications. The most sought certificate is the NEBOSH International General Certificate that you undertake so that you can be certified HSE officer. Also, there is a degree of management of health and safety that you can undertake. Other small courses that you need, we have IOSH, something to do with OSHA. Those are small certifications.
Okay.
But now the real struggle is not getting the certifications, because you can easily get the certificates. The real struggle is getting yourself to integrate in the construction or world or setup, to convince people that HSC is really important and you guys have to buy in whatever I'm trying to sell to you, or in whatever I'm trying to advise to you. So I believe that's the hardest part. The certifications is really easy to get.
Mm. And for our listeners, the people who don't know what NEBOSH is, what OSHA is, maybe you can break down what is NEBOSH, what is OSHA in a layman's language.
So NEBOSH, it's a body governing health and safety, like worldwide. So it offers those particular certifications. So the certificate I get in NEBOSH, it's not called NEBOSH, it's the International General Certificate.
Okay.
For the IOSH, it's International Occupational Safety and Health. It's still a body. Those are bodies. Like they're bodies you study with, then you get some particular certifications. So they're just bodies governing or surrounding health and safety regulations.
And that's okay. So anyone who is interested in joining safety, they can just get this. How long does the certification take?
Like for the NEBOSH can take 1 to 2 years. For IOSH, just few months. Most certificates are just short course. You can get them in very few months. Again, depending on how you study yourself, because most of the things you just register with a certain body, you pay fees, they send you notes and everything. Then you study. You have given a period of studying, maybe 1 year. So if you finish by 6 months, you can take the exam. If you pass, it's okay. If you do not pass, you again repeat. Maybe you go 6 months to 1 year until you pass the certification.
Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't have a specific timeline. Of course, for the degree in health and safety is 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
I was actually to ask you, we have universities offering safety of. I'm not sure if colleges do offer. I'm not sure if colleges do offer the safety officer, but I'm sure of KU. KU do offer the safety officer, because we have listeners who are students and they don't know where they is. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think safety officer is a common course.
Yeah, it's not a common profession. It's not very common. It's upcoming.
Yeah.
Something.
And it is very, very essential in any workplace, actually, not just construction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just give us a brief on how your day looks like, and then now we can. Yeah.
Okay. My normal day as a safety officer, in the morning, as I enter, let's say a construction site, you have to be hypervigilant. Like you just enter in this particular area, scanning for danger everywhere. Even when I was entering that gate, I have to enter scanning for danger. Is there anything that can fall? Do we have a neighbor who is violent? Like that's how it looks like. So in a construction setup, first things first, maybe let's say it's at the gate. You check the gate. How is the security there? Because in as much as we are dealing with safety, also security is part of what we check. How is the security of the gate? Physical, there's something we call physical hazards. You scan. Maybe I've entered in my HSC office or the engineer's office. You scan for physical hazard. The physical hazards are hazards like how is the lighting in this particular room? How is the ventilation? How is it? Vitu kama hizo, heating, cold weather, blah, 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 blah. Then kuna vitu tunaitanga pre-start briefings ama pre-start meetings. When you meet with the workers, you have to make sure that they have been briefed briefly on the hazards of the day. Jana walijua yes kuna hazards, but again you have to keep reminding them each and every day. Today there might be a possibility of this and these hazards. We have new equipment maybe being brought on site. We have casting today. We are not used to, what are they called? The delivery trucks, the concrete trucks coming every day are on site. We have to stay vigilant when it comes to those ones. During the day, an emergency can happen. Do the workers know what they're supposed to do in case of an emergency? So you refresh them on the emergency procedures. Do they know where the fire equipment are? Do they know where the first aid station is? Do they know their first aiders? Do they know their fire marshals? Let's say the access routes are on the sites or on the blocks. Are they clear or are they obstructed? So in case of anything, they need to flee. They know where to go and the access routes are safe. So basically that's it. If there are permits we need to give for the day, you give permits for the day. If there are issues you had addressed yesterday and they need to be closed before the site starts, we make sure those things are done. So that's a normal day for a HSC officer.
And just to give a picture to our listeners, construction has one of the highest. Construction is the sites, they have one of the highest hazards, I think, in any industry.
Yeah.
Because construction, you'll find you're building buildings that are 10 floors high, or even the excavation, you're doing the basements for like 3 floors downwards. And it's very funny because we've lost, it's sad. We've lost so many lives in construction. The guys have fallen down. Like in our previous, because we are colleagues, me and Achini.
Yeah.
In our previous site, we lost someone who fell down from the scaffold, and they lost their lives like 1 year after that. And before that, they were crippled.
Yeah, they lost their life
After that. So we really need to have a safety officer. So many people are asking, why do we need a safety officer on site? Every day they will assess your site. They will tell you on the hazards that are on site. They will do the inspections. And we also have inspections from the auditors that come from outside. So you'll be audited on your sites. So yeah, what can you tell someone who wants to do safety officer? Maybe a student who is listening to you, or someone who wants to pivot their careers.
Okay. For anyone who is willing to join or is planning to join this profession, just an advice from my experience. There are 3 things you need. The most important, first of all, you have to be competent in whatever you do. Also, this is a career that needs a lot of consistency. In as much as you study and get your certificates, the regulations or the laws surrounding HSC keeps changing every other day. So you have to keep studying, or developing yourself each and every day. So you need to be consistent in getting your knowledge. Another thing, just composure. People will try you on site. So you need to be composed. Like, just have composure each and every day. Your voice might shake in the first time or during the first days. Like, you find very experienced people on site. We have people who have worked for years, I guess, on site. And then you're coming to tell them, excuse me, sir, you need to do 1, 2, 3 to make sure you're safe. And then they're like, madam,
I've been working for
20 years. I told another contractor another day, like, sir, you need your safety boots before you enter the site. Then he had Timberland on and he was like, go ask your father. We wore these shoes even before you were born. So you'll find those challenges. So you just have to be consistent in your, also, what are they called? The sites have policies. Also, we have rules. Rules are there for a reason. If a particular rule or a procedure is not supposed to be broken, make sure it's not broken. Like just stand by the policies, by the procedures. They'll protect you at the end of the day. So as a HSC officer, you just need to be firm. People won't like you. We are the most hated people on site. I know. Actually,
I don't like you guys.
yeah, you don't like us, but we are not there to be liked. We're there to be you need to work and to make sure people go home safely. So at the end of the day, we go back home. We are paid. People are safe. Whether you like us or not, we really don't care. We care that you guys are safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for sure, the hatred is there. I don't think there's a supervisor who likes a safety officer.
No one.
Because, and one of the things with safety officers is they don't care about the timelines. They don't care about the costs. Whether the project is running on a loss.
Yeah.
Whether you promised your client unapeana nyumba kesho.
We really don't. Because an accident, okay, you might say me coming to tell you to do one checklist or one inspection or one preset meeting will delay your timeline. But if an accident happens, your timelines, forget about them. Like you will lose much more time that more than yenye tungetake we do a brief preset meeting or an inspection.
Okay. So now that you've talked about the safety of the site, you've talked about the security. Does mental health count as a safety on site? Because construction can be one hell of a...
Yeah, absolutely. Like mental health really contributes to the overall health and safety. Because I've previously mentioned physical hazards. We have human, what do we call it? Something human, maybe human behavior. So let's say you come to work and you're fatigued. It will affect your work. You have a financial stress. Umekuja na stress za pesa. You won't be able to concentrate. Maybe you need to, while working at height, you need to have hooked your body harness. But your mind is thinking about things like, I have some loan pending somewhere. I have some maybe hospital bills I need to pay, blah, 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 things to do with financial. You see that person won't be able to fully have their mind pale kwa ile kazi yake. Kitu ingine, wale watu wa kiburi, pride, they tend to take a lot of shortcuts. Like, mimi ni ule mse I can do, wale who have done this for many years. So, when you're mentally disturbed, you happen to, you won't concentrate in whatever. Maybe we are doing a toolbox talk and your mind is not there. You won't get it. You go to site, you find yourself violating. You forgot to wear your glove. You forgot to do a particular inspection. That's and that and that. So that's why in the ESG department, which also has a health and safety, we make sure maybe there is a department to deal with mental health issues. Also on site, we have a department where we offer counseling services so that someone can be of sober mind before they
work.
Yeah, before they work.
That is so thoughtful.
Yeah.
Actually. Tell us about one of the most fatal near misses accidents. Maybe you can explain what a near miss is and what an accident is, and then now you can tell us of the...
Okay. A near miss, it's a close call. Like something happens, but it doesn't cause a real accident. Like let's say I trip over that cable, but I don't fall. I almost fell. That's a near miss. But I still pass around that area. I trip on that cable. I fall down. Now that's a real accident. That's the basic example I could give. So near misses, the most fatal near misses that happen on site, they are not the loud ones. They are the silent ones. Like we are doing a lifting operation, a load swings maybe very close to a structure or very close to a person. That's a fatal near miss. When it has not caused a real accident, but it's crazy. So maybe a welder is welding something around the site, then there are some flammables somewhere, then a spark in a ruka pale, it's still a near miss. Someone almost falls from the scaffolding, it's a near miss. Those are the most fatal near misses we experience on site. Well, they do not turn out to be injuries, but the whole site goes silent for a second. And that's when you realize or how thin the line is between a near miss and a completely fatal accident.
Okay.
So those really changes you. When you encounter such near misses, they really change the perspective on how you address the safety on your site.
And just to insist on that, I remember our lead safety officer used to say, you just don't wake up one day and get an accident on site. It is those small near misses that lead to maybe death and bigger injuries. What is one of the biggest misconception that the safety officers do have? I know. No, what people think or on you. I know one is kazi ni kutembea tu on site.
Kazi ni kutembea tu. Another one that we enjoy stopping work.
Oh,
yeah. We don't enjoy stopping work. Like, that's where we get our bread and butter every day. Why would I enjoy stopping work? And then that day we are working maybe on a piece rate and all of us, we are not getting paid. So I believe that's the biggest misconception. Like, what do you mean? We worked like this yesterday, we survived, what will go wrong today? Yeah.
So how do you deal with, we have on a construction site, we have very many people that you have to deal with. You have to deal with the project managers, the engineers, the clients themselves, the supervisors, even the smallest person is the laborer.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with someone who maybe they don't want to listen? Because you have to keep training everyone. What is an accident? What is a near miss? You have to tell them that every day. So how do you deal with someone who maybe they want to lay slide, they don't want to wear the PPEs?
Well, that's our biggest challenge, because you will train a person today, tomorrow, or I'll train a person now. What is the time now?
It's 14:24.
14:24. 14:26, I'll find the same person violating the same thing. You repeated in the training room 30 times. Well, it's advisable as an HSC officer, you don't get tired. You stay consistent with your corrections, you stay quoting regulations, you stay reminding them, correcting them with kindness. I know you guys say we go shouting around, but now with this generation, or the way we are advancing, we are moving from compliance HSC to compliance based. Like, this is a rule, you have to follow the rule, like, to the care, like, for the workers to understand the why. Like you've said, I have to wear my harness. Is it just a rule, or why do I need to wear my body harness? So, like, we really need to deal with the worker behavior to make sure they really understand where we are coming from, and they understand how is this HSC helping them themselves. Like, let's say that day there is no HSC on site, there is no rule applying. How you as a person, how are you going to carry yourself and make sure that you go home safely? So what you do, just keep reminding them, quote your procedures, quote the rules, and also let them know the consequences of not following that particular rule.
Okay.
Yeah. So the most challenging bit to deal with in HSC is not really maybe the room is not well lit. We can put maybe lighting. If we are working at tight, we need to put a scaffolding, we can easily erect that one. But when it comes to human factors, the human behavior, that's where the real challenge is. And that's why we've come up with programs like behavior-based safety, where you have to really understand the behaviors of workers and how to turn them around to make sure they really understand this HSE thing. Yeah, it's still a battle we are trying to fight, and we hope we win.
Yeah. Now we've talked about the workers. What about the lead management? There are some people who employ safety officers only, for the officer, for the papers.
Now, for the management, again, you have to help them understand. Maybe you have timelines, yes, and there is HSE, there is safety. Sometimes, due to pressure, they tend to prioritize timelines. Then safety takes the back seat. Now the challenge is getting them to understand or to integrate the two things, because there is no way you're going to deal with your timelines without dealing with safety. So with the management, it's just rephrasing the communication. Like, we have safety, we have HSE, let us integrate them. We make sure that everything runs smoothly. Also, the good thing is they have a responsibility as the maybe managers. They have responsibility to keep their workers safe. So just quote for them again. I'll go back to procedures, to regulations. A quote for them: be consistent with reminding them, and also reminding them of the consequences if they do not follow those rules and regulations.
Okay.
And also make them understand that HSE is part of the process. Let's say a person dies today when we are doing a construction. That construction might be closed that same day. So it's better. The earlier they understand this thing, the better.
Okay. And so how does it feel when you stop works on site? Because sometimes you can just come, you find someone is grinding and maybe they've not worn the right PPE. When I say PPE, it's personal protective equipment. That is the just the basics. We can just give them the basics, and then you can answer how does it feel to stop the works.
Okay, the basic PPE.
The basic PPE that you have to have on just a basic site.
So on a normal site, the basic PPE you need to have a hard hat or a helmet. Also, you need to have a reflective vest or maybe an overall, whatever your provider chooses. Also, you need to have safety boots. The safety boots, they have steel toe, they have a steel plate down there in case of any nails, and also they have anti-slip soles, because the sites can tend to be very slippery. So when it comes to stopping works, when I stop at a particular work, let's say it's a casting operation going on, and there are some controls. Maybe the pump is not well set, or it's set on a hill, or it's set near a structure that it might strike and kill several people. You have to stop work at that moment, because you have to save lives. And also, our engineers, they have their timelines, they have their targets and everything. So me as the HSE officer, yes, I stop work, but some days it really feels heavy when I stop the work, because maybe the concrete is settling, or whatever, it's settling. The equipment is normally hired per hour or per yard. Yeah, the equipment is hired per hour. That is money getting lost. If the concrete settles, what happens?
If it hardens, it is. I think that's the worst case that can happen on that track.
Yeah,
because it has to be cut.
Yeah, now you see the intensity of stopping work. But again, I really have to stop the work, because this is people's lives on the line. I will just stop work. I give recommendations. They correct, then the work can proceed. Why do I stop that work? In case something happens, they will look at me. HSE officer, you came there, You approved the checklist, you gave out the permit for casting, you didn't advise on this, now people are dead. When I'm stopping work, like 60 men or 100 men are looking at you like, you've ruined our lives. We are not going to be paid for these.
And actually, for these, like, everyone is looking at you from.
Yeah, everyone is looking at you, and then you're shaking, you're sweating, you have overalls, you're sweating all over the place, but you still you have to keep your stand because you cannot have. You can order for another truck of concrete, right? But when I die, where can you order? My life, nowhere. So I just say whatever, but I have to stop work until the right thing is done. So it really feels heavy. It doesn't feel satisfying because you've
done your work.
Yeah, you've done your work, and also you've protected lives. But again, when I go back home in the evening or I go back to my office, I'll be like, did I really overreact? Was it that dangerous? But yes, you didn't overreact. You really did the right thing of protecting lives. So it's really never an easy call when it comes to stopping work.
Okay.
But you have to do it.
Someone has to do it.
Yeah.
Have you ever doubted your call? You umekaa hivi, you're just like, was that necessary? Why did I do that?
Yeah, every day, like maybe a lot of times, like there is no single day that can go without a health and safety officer doubting their call. It's not weakness, but again, as I've said, if something bad happens, they'll still look at you. They'll say, where were you?
There was a safety officer.
A safety officer was walking around, was issuing permits, did a toolbox talk, and everything. So I better doubt my call just for that day than regret permanently after I let things slide and we lost a person on site. So it's normal to doubt your call sometimes.
So for the younger safety officers, for the incoming ones,
Yeah,
they need to stand on business.
they need to stand on business. You'll go to the washroom and cry for a few minutes, but come back strong. Come back to site strong. Yeah. We cry several. Well, I do. I don't know about others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you balance between deadlines and safety? I have a project. In the project I have to do within 2 months, and safety takes time. The guys have to do toolbox for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. There's the PPEs. You have to inspect the electrical appliances, the cables, the grinders. You have to code them. So how do you balance that?
Well, safety and deadlines, as I said earlier, they are not two separate things. They are things you need to integrate together. An inspection session might take 20 minutes. For a grinder, yes, you check the grinder, they have the guards, they have the safety locks, safety switches in place, the cable cords are okay, and everything. But let's say I didn't take those 10 minutes to do my inspection, and my worker went on the ground with a grinder without a guard, without an emergency switch, and everything. Then I use the grinder and a kickback happens, I cut my hand. So now imagine how much will your deadlines be taken back?
So and for a normal person, they need to know once someone dies on your site, that site closes permanently. That site is closed permanently.
So you choose between 30 minutes of inspection, pre-start briefings, toolbox talks, and permanent closure of your site. It's as simple as that. So that's why I said you have to rephrase the whole conversation. We come up with ways of how to integrate the two things. That's why as an HSC officer on site, you have to be very close with maybe your peer. You can have weekly meetings, and then I put my my recommendations on the table. He or she puts his timelines on the table. So we say we need to hand over this block or a road session by this week. And also, as a HOC officer, you say we need to do these particular things while we accomplish this particular target. So how are we going to work together to make sure everything moves smoothly, freely? So we have to work together and for all the goals to become successful.
Yeah. Do you think people really care about the safety on sites? Maybe, okay. Do you think the managers they have the safety office? Do you think they really care, or is it just like a system that has to be followed?
And unfortunately, most don't care. You know, you're part of the management on site. They don't. Again, as a project manager, I'm there to complete deadlines. Even me, even if I had a business, like I want to complete timelines and make profit and everything. But when something comes that might slow me down kidogo, I might tend to resist a little bit. So the managers, they might tend to prioritize production, maybe when they have pressure. So that's why safety has to be the come in chaos, like you come in between kidogo to bring them back in line. Like you stop
The come in chaos
kidogo so that they can come back to line. Because when you're pressured, you tend to take shortcuts to do everything possible to finish your target. So if I come in between, oh guys, we need to do a small pre-task briefing. At least people, you see, their minds will come back to safety a little bit. We say we need this particular permit. We will need some few minutes for approvals and issuance. The people will stop a little bit and refocus. So during all those chaos, we have some time to think about safety.
So how can we move from the culture of this is what the book says, this is what we have to do, to let us do it for our sakes? We have a zebra crossing, but guys don't use it. And there are some places that you have to use it. So how do we move from a mentality of this is what should be done to a care of sight?
So I mentioned earlier that's a little bit of a challenge we are facing now, the human factors. I said we can construct the most perfect scaffolding structures. We can come up with the safest equipment, but when it comes back to human behavior, they don't really understand why you have those particular systems in place. Now, what we have to really work on, and it's still a gap, it's working on the human behavior, like for them understanding the why. Because also if I tell you wear your body harness, you don't understand why do I need to wear my body harness. So if me as the HSC officer, I come and tell you, Carol, wear your body harness, then I walk away, you'll be like, this madam told me to wear a body harness. I can wear it and go with it at the scaffolding and not hook, because I didn't tell you the why you need to have your body harness on. So you have to really approach it with, it's not a rule. It's necessary for you just to have a harness. I'm not coming with this as a rule. You just need the harness to save your life. So we really have to make the workers understand why all these safety shenanigans, so that we can move a step forward when it comes to improving the culture of HEC. Yeah.
So what are the small habits that we can take, that we can change, that maybe can change the culture?
First of all, it really begins from the top, from the top management. So if the management team, they really act their talk, or they really act the policies. We have a lot of policies and procedures and rules put everywhere, on the walls, on the signages, in the files, everywhere. But if you have those and you as an engineer, you work on site, you don't have your helmet on, you're not following the walkways, you're just jumping over the barriers and the scaffolding, the workers will really follow what you're doing. One thing about workers, they don't really do what we say. We might do a very long toolbox talk or a preset meeting, but when we do not act whatever we are talking on those rooms, the culture is going to be stagnant. So we really need the management needs to act, to emphasize or to really own safety. Also, small behaviors like encourage people to speak up, to speak fast before something happens. Because if I come in this room and see that we have trailing cables everywhere, and I say, maybe these cables, we need to arrange them well, we can mitigate that before someone trips. If as a worker, again, let's say I have an equipment that is not safe. If I speak up early, I say my equipment has no guard, maybe it was sparking yesterday, it was kickbacking yesterday, we can do something about it and prevent a future incident. Also, encouraging that culture of speaking up, and also we make sure if workers speak up, we do not victimize them. There is a lot of victimization on site. I say something, then all of a sudden I'm a snitch.
You're the enemy.
Yeah, I'm the enemy. But actually, you're the one saving a lot of people's lives. So we make sure that a culture of victimization is not there. Also, the pre-task briefings, do not get tired of reminding the workers what they're supposed to do. Yes, you told them yesterday. Don't say, guys, niliwaambia jana, we have work to do today, we don't have time. Just be consistent in reminding them. And when you keep correcting them, at the end, they will adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the safety culture is improving in Kenya right now?
Yes. Well, from where I stand, from my experience, I think it's improving. Because even on site, you're finding a worker saying, this and this is not right. Yeah. Also, women in safety. We have several, kitambo, maybe we need men who can shout and everything. I think it's really improving. There is progress. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think because if I go on site and I don't have the right PPE, I'll find my worker telling me, you need to wear your boots, your vest, and then you can walk. Yeah.
There is progress. But still we need to work on the human factors or the human behavior. Then we can hack it a little bit.
Okay. What advice would you give to a young person who wants to pursue safety? They're still debating whether safety is a good career, whether it's not.
Well, I might say just start. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, take another route. But again, as I said, make sure you know your regulations around HSC. Ukuwe tena consistent in getting to know them. Encourage, just, yeah.
So you will
invite giving your call. Yeah, I'll advise anyone willing to take it or planning just to take it.
Okay. Okay, so we are nearing to the end of the podcast. Maybe one parting shot.
So to all the women in construction, or it's construction and women.
I know it's women in construction.
Women in construction, you're doing a great job. And for all the other guys in construction, we have to know that things are changing. We do not need shouting men in construction sites. People can also lead in calmness. You can have some calm authority and still execute whatever you need to do. So yeah, let's support the women taking over the construction industry and get ready for the
Let's open doors for the new women who are coming.
yeah, because they are really coming in, whether we open doors or not. Okay, on a lighter note. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
We've really learned a lot, and I'm hoping that our listeners and everyone else, they've learned something. Yeah. So thank you very much. This is Female in Construction. I'm your host, Carol Kinyanjui.